your local Polaris off-road headquarters, and heard everywhere on the iHeart app. This is WTSO Madison 1070 The Game.
Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin is on the air. Talking Golf is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Oak Park Place, Wild Rock Golf Club, Mercedes-Benz of Madison, TPC Wisconsin, University Ridge Golf Course, Ridgetop Exteriors, Southern Italy Imports, and Nevada Bobs. Now, here's your foursome for Talking
Mics
Golf.
are on.
Wisconsin Golf Hall of Famer Dennis Tiziani, Wisconsin Broadcaster Hall of Famer Paul Brown, Wisconsin Premier Golf Reporter Gary D'Amato, and host of his daily statewide sports talk show, Mike Heller.
Well, we welcome you in to Talking Golf on a Monday night. That open always gets Tiz a little giggly. Yeah. Hey, listen, nothing in
You're my
there,
All-American. I don't care.
Nothing in there is untrue. All of that is accurate. Let me take us back to yesterday and Keegan Bradley winning at the Travelers. Mm-hmm. It creates a very interesting scenario because Keegan Bradley is now 8th in the Ryder Cup point standings, and he's the captain. The top 6 get automatic bids. He may still work his way into that position.
One or the other.
One or the other. I was talking to somebody else in the business today who said if you're going to be the captain, then you're just the captain. He has not talked about it. When he was asked about it post-round yesterday, he just looked into the camera and said, "Go USA." What's your view on it, Dennis? We haven't had one since Arnold Palmer, right?
Arnold Palmer, yeah. But he's stretching it a little bit, being a captain. You know, you look back at the captains and all the reasons they were a captain. He might even be better as a player because he's playing really good, you know. Right. But I think that he wants to be a captain. I have not known anybody who's been successful playing and a captain at the same time.
Sure.
You know, it's totally different.
What would the drawbacks be to being the captain and playing?
Well, you got to be able to be with your players. You're behind your players. You're moving them along. What happens if you go out there and you lose? What are you going to do?
Yeah,
you can't do that.
So there's such a large catalog of vice captains. You know, Steve had a great crew with him.
Right.
And listen, when Palmer did this, I think it's the early 1960s, 63. Does that sound about right?
Right.
The game is different. What they're doing is totally different at that time, and I think that changes the equation. If we go backwards a little bit, the reason Keegan Bradley is a captain is that the others who they were going to tab, Tiger said no. And then there's nobody else that the PGA kind of maybe missed this up a little bit by not having a second one in line if they didn't have a guarantee that Tiger was going to say yes.
There's a reason why they got a new leader in the PGA.
Yeah.
I don't want to go there.
No, you're okay. But I think it's going to be a very interesting watch over the next number of weeks because Keegan could even play himself into an auto qualifier and then he would have to decline points in order to just be the captain.
Make up your mind. You want to be the captain, you want to be a player.
And maybe if that were the case, he should do that sooner rather than later in case of leaving speculation open.
I don't think he'll ever. I think it'd be better if he's a captain than if he's a player.
Yeah.
Long term for him.
Yeah.
I was a player on a Ryder Cup team. So were a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
I was the captain of a Ryder Cup team.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a winning team, you know.
If he would play, is there a procedure in place to find a replacement, or would they just pick maybe one of the other ones that he had decided to work with him?
He could still be the captain and be the player.
Yeah.
He could still be both.
Correct.
And my point is, no. One or the other.
So we've talked about players that have had it kind of go sideways at the end of tournaments. Yesterday, that was Tommy Fleetwood. On the 18th hole, he's in the fairway, 72nd hole of the tournament. He's in the fairway. I believe he changed clubs. I think they were worried about wind, and he leaves it short. And then his putt. Oh, you want to talk about it's almost a $2 million putt because he left it short and outside of Keegan Bradley on the same line.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he hasn't won yet.
And that is what?
Well, he doesn't know how. He can't know how.
Sure.
Something, your body's not going to do anything your mind doesn't tell it to do.
It brings us
so
to
you better know what that's about. And there's something about winning. I mean, that's a whole different attitude.
So you open the door to that part of the conversation because we talked about it briefly the other day in another room here. We were talking about putting. You have to be able to will putts to go in. You have to believe they're going to go in.
Right.
So is that also part of learning to win? You've got to win in order to know how to do it?
You see, there are very few. The good players, they'll eat your eyes for olives.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They want to win.
Yeah.
They want to beat you at all costs. And I worry, in his particular case, not worry, but why hasn't he won?
Yeah.
He's played in so many tournaments and been in so many places to win that takes so long. There's a reason for that. You get a guy who now he's played in he's been out there for 2 years and he just won the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
But watch him. Just look at his eye movement. Watch how he moves around. He takes over.
You've probably been there more than once. What is it that the average golfer doesn't understand about playing in that kind of a situation under that pressure? I know it's different for everybody, but what's one of the main things in that kind of a scenario?
Well, I'm going to give you an Arnold Palmer thing. I spent a lot of time with him. We sat right across. What did he do? What did he think about? He believed that everything around him had energy, whether it be any kind of an animal, this coin, and he would suck that energy in.
Yeah.
And he'd pull the energy from every one of those objects and put them inside, and he was able to hold it inside. That's the difference. He pulled that energy. You need that extra thing. Now, there are some people that, go to faith.
Yeah.
And they get some form of it. That doesn't work all the time either.
Sure.
Christ is okay, but I don't know about him hitting putts,
Did you see his comments afterwards?
Tommy Fleetwood?
Yeah, he said, I'm upset now. I'm angry. When I calm down, I'm going to look back on it and see what I did well, learn from it. He said he felt stupid the way the thing happened, the way it did. That's
well, it
the
was
comment.
Honestly, right? It was really the putt on the 72nd hole. All he's got to do is two putt, and he knows he's worst case in a playoff, and he leaves it 7 feet short, and he left it short and on the same line as Keegan Bradley.
It's called choking a little.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Breathing right, learning how to do that, and that's a big item to hitting on your exhale, all that sort of stuff. That he has to be able to grab that energy, and unfortunately for him, something's missing. That's in that characteristic in order to be a winner.
Yeah. Well, let's look at the good thing. He won $3.2 million, which is the most that's ever been paid out to somebody that wound up in that position. And he's still, let's see, in terms of things, he's still in the, I got it here somewhere, but FedEx Cup points, he's doing well.
Yeah.
And in the world rankings, he's doing well.
I'd like to ask him this question. Would you give up the $3.2 million for the win?
Yes, he probably would.
There you go.
Yeah, and Keegan Bradley got the win and all that money, and I believe I think that Henley and Fleetwood each got $1.7 million, I believe, for second place. Because they finished tied. Keegan Bradley got $3.6.
I want to talk about Henley, a guy that says the ball moved.
Yeah,
it cost him a stroke, and that cost him potentially the playoff.
Let's go back to that, Dennis, because I have two rules questions. One is this. Calling himself a penalty, he said the ball moved a dimple. Nobody saw it. Nobody was there. It was in the tall grass. When he took the club away, he said he for certain saw the ball move a dimple, called a penalty on himself. He misses out on winning the tournament by a shot. That's a penalty that if he doesn't assess that on himself, if all things are equal, he would have won the tournament.
However, there's two basic rules that underline all the rules of golf. Honesty and integrity.
Yeah.
Those are the two items. What if he wins, but he knew that moved?
The ball moved.
Uh-oh. Now where's the integrity?
I got a question for you on that one. If you have a club and the ball is in the rough, should you not put the club down in the grass because that can cause the move? Should you leave it above the grass before you hit it?
In all cases, yeah. You leave it above. You don't want to do anything to move the ball. And you do that, and certainly the ball would move. Now, the other side is I watch players in the rough push down on the club
Sure.
right behind the ball. That's cheating.
Which is also changing
That's
the
cheating.
lie.
That's
correct?
cheating. You're influencing that lie. Now, whether they're doing it intentionally, whether it's an accepted deal, but I don't know. I don't like to see that.
Let me take you back to last week at the U.S. Open, something that I wanted to cover last Monday and we didn't. Sam Burns asks a rules official to come over and give him relief on the 15th fairway. He didn't get relief. Second rules official, he came over. He wanted a second opinion on it. Also didn't give him relief. The rule is written, when you stand, if your feet displace water, you get relief. But if the ball is lower than where you're standing and the ball is in water, should you not? Is there not an addendum to the rule that an official could move it?
That was a bad ruling. He should have got relief.
Simple.
Simple as that. He should have got relief. Whatever they were doing, looking at this, it's the ball that was in the water. Judging, and you could see it.
Right.
I mean, the neck of the club the water just caught it and flipped the club over, hit it right to the line.
And when he took a practice swing, you could see the water fly. I think he was trying to show the rules officials to say, look, this is what I'm hitting out of. Just because my feet are above the ball and they're not displacing water, my ball in its position is in the water.
You saw all the critiques.
Yeah, none of them were in favor of the officials.
That was a bad ruling.
And you don't know for sure, but it could have cost him the tournament. I mean,
no question.
Sure.
Yeah. When you're going to go, whenever you hit it through water, and you're going to go through it, that neck is going to catch, just like you hit it on the grass. Catching it turns it over.
Do you think? Okay, so that's one, but we have hit on this a number of times. Do you think that there is enough legs to the idea of moving the rule on hitting out of a divot in the fairway?
Absolutely, it's
ground. You think it's going to change?
It's ground under repair.
Do you think it will change?
Yes. It is so unfair that I drive it right in the middle of the fairway and I'm in a divot. Fixable. It's ground under repair.
Yeah.
Whether I go ahead and put the divot back or whether I put dirt on it and hope that and seed. So absolutely, that's a bad rule that it's in a divot.
How could they change that? Can one person make a decision? Do they have a committee? If they were going to change that, who does that?
The USGA.
But I mean, could one person do it in the?
Well, they'll bring it up in front of a group who does the rules. I mean, just think about it. There was like 8 or 11 rules, original rules. Yeah. Did you ever see the rule book now?
Oh my gosh!
I mean, it's this thick.
Yeah,
it's like a Bible.
Oh man, there's all these rules for rules, so that, and they changed the ball in the water. There's used to be 5 options. There's only 3 now. They took the one to go across. They took some of those out. So that's a good move, and this will be a good move too. If it's in the divot, mark it, drop it, and
move on.
Move on. That's right.
Yeah. Let me set up the show here a little bit. We're gonna talk to Gary D'Amato. He'll join us in our second segment tonight.
Here we go with him.
Did you hear from him this week about the Italian citizenship?
No, he didn't say.
Okay. All right.
Didn't say a word. But I won't say a word. I mean, he'll bring it up.
What other scoop have you got this week?
Yeah, you got anything for us new this week?
No.
Okay, be careful what you ask for. Nothing you can say on the air.
That I'm going to tell you anyway.
So we'll talk to Gary D'Amato, and then Izzi Stricker won the state match play, the women's match play a week ago up at Old Hickory, and then had some more success.
I think today.
With her mom today.
Her mom made 6 birdies on the back 9.
Mom had it rolling. Come on, honestly, is she not the most talented golfer in the family?
She's got the talent comes from what's inside.
Yeah.
There's a good example, what I told you about she'll eat your eyes for olives.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you she's going to win. That's what she's going to do. And she won that match play. I went down to watch her play, and, she's just, she works out. She does all the right things, but when it comes down to playing, she doesn't care who it is.
Yeah.
Dad, are you going to start playing or not? And that father-child, whatever they play.
Yeah.
And he was going along. Dad, are you going to start playing anytime? She got right after.
Well, she's going to be here in person. I'm going to ask her, do you guys play card games in the family?
Oh, yeah, she does. She competes at everything.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to be clear about that.
Ask her when she plays cards with Grandpa, though.
Well, that's the point. That's where I want to go.
Oh, she don't like when I get a gin on her, or whatever. Oh boy, she'll slap the guy.
That's right. So that's how the show stacks up tonight. And then Rose is going to join us, right, Paul?
Rose Lynch.
Good
she
person.
is
She's one of the best people you'll meet.
She's a member here at TPC, and we're going to talk to her about the women's perspective of this golf course, what it offers. She's also been an outstanding volunteer for many, many golf tournaments here and in Arizona.
Yeah. Good. We had friends of ours that just joined this last week, and also just as a little plug for TPC, the Nine and Dine little program that we do on Friday nights once a month. Couples went out in the group.
I saw you there.
Met two. I met a bunch of people that I hadn't known before, but also played with another couple, and then had dinner with two more that just was fantastic.
How'd you do? We
finished second, 3 under par.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Mike
and Kari, 3 under par on the front 9 with a little 2-person scramble.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you'll live with that. We'll talk with Gary D'Amato. He'll join us on the other side as you listen to Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up?
Clear. Break one. 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you, and here's the best part. New or used, clubs, shoes, bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Thank you, Wisconsin, for supporting the 2025 American Family Insurance Championship. This year's event debuted a new team competition and a new location at TPC, Wisconsin. Congratulations to the winning team of Darren Clark and Thomas Bjorn. The pair shot 32 under over the 54-hole event, securing the team title with a final round score of 7 under 64. Mark your calendars for the 2026 American Family Insurance Championship, which returns.
Gary is on the line. Gary's on the line.
Championship.com.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment, you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
Hey, it's Mike Heller for Lombardi Lemonada Hard Lemonade. Everybody loves something new, especially when it's brand new and a taste of your favorite hard lemonade just in time for summer. Lombardi Lemonada comes in 4 unique flavors, crafted with all-natural lemon juice and no artificial sweeteners. Crisp, clean, and so refreshing. It's a little slice of Sicily made right here in Wisconsin. Pick up some Lombardi Lemonada today at your local Festival Foods or at Woodman's and taste the summertime. Variety packs or single flavors available.
Escape to Wild Rock Golf Club in Wisconsin Dells, where championship golf meets breathtaking natural beauty. The perfect golf getaway awaits, with numerous luxurious lodging styles, perfect for groups of any size. Carved from the natural beauty of the area, Wild Rock is set against rolling hills, rugged terrain, and views you won't forget.
1 minute.
Book your next round or stay and play package today and get ready for an exceptional golf experience. Visit wildrockgolf.com for more information. That's wildrockgolf.com.
Hi, Matt LePay, your friendly game announcer for Ridgetop Exteriors. Is your home ready to stand out this season? Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they've delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com for your free consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob. Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you, and here's the
10
best
seconds.
part.
You got
New
10.
or used, clubs, shoes, bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price. Mics are on.
Back with you. This is Talking Golf. Mike Heller along with Paul Braun and Dennis Tiziani. And we welcome in Gary D'Amato to the program. Gary D'Amato joins us. Gary, let's talk about what you got coming up, because I know the Ray Fisher comes up next week, and this is a tournament for those not that familiar.
Come se va, Gary? Come se va?
Oh boy,
a little Italian there. Very good.
Here we go again.
The Fisher's coming up. It's one of my favorite things to cover in the summer. It's a really good tournament. It's probably behind the State Open and the State Amateur, probably the third best field in the state. And boy, the list of champions. If you go down this list of champions, it's pretty incredible who's won this thing. Frank Tenfeld, Steve Caravello, Archie Beatty, and Bobby Mann, who played on the PGA Tour. Bumowski won it a bunch of times. Skip Kendall, a guy named Steve Stricker won in 1989. John Palin. I mean, there's just some great winners. Jack Schultz more recently won it a couple years in a row, and I think he set the scoring record of like 25 under 1 year that he won it. So it's a great tournament, and it's Janesville Riverside, a 6,500-yard golf course that these guys just, if you don't shoot 20 under, you have no chance of winning 72-hole tournament. And I just love covering that thing. Looking forward to it next weekend.
Is Jim Nance's broadcast partner playing in it? He's been in it a number of times in the past years.
What? You're talking Tony Romo?
Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony
Scared me
Romo.
for a second. Yeah, Tony Romo is entered again this year, and Tony's a really good player. He's got a really bad back from getting hit about 500 times and playing football in the NFL. And he, a couple of times he hasn't been able to finish because his back has gone out on him. But he's a really good player, and I just love that he comes back and supports Wisconsin golf. Yeah. He plays with his buddies at home, and he also plays in the State Am almost every year. So it's great that a guy like that would come back and play in Wisconsin. And, his dad, Ramiro, is a really good player, won the State Senior Am, I think, twice, and owns Meadowbrook. It's probably, I'm certain it's Tony's money behind it, but, his dad is one of the co-owners of Meadowbrook Country Club in Racine. So that is a big-time golf family in our state, and I'm really thankful that the Romos give back to golf in our state.
Let me ask you about one of our opening topics tonight, and that was the Keegan Bradley situation. He's now eighth in Ryder Cup points. The top 6 are automatics, and then captain's picks after that. Well, he's the captain. Yeah. What's your view on this? And it's pretty much an unprecedented, unless you go all the way back to the early 1960s when Arnold Palmer was a playing captain.
Yeah, if you ask Dennis about this, I missed it. I tuned in a few minutes late, so I'm going to give my own spiel here. And I think, nowadays, I think back then you could get away with being a playing captain. This is just my opinion now, but I think it's a lot harder today. I think there's so much more pressure on a captain and his assistants. And, the Ryder Cup has grown from an event no one watched 50 years ago or 40 years ago to probably the premier event in golf now. And I just think there's just too much on the table for a guy to try to split his time, being a playing captain. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. If he's, finishes 6th or 7th in the points, that'd be a really interesting situation.
Let me bring you back to what Tiz said off the top of the show, and
okay.
Dennis said one or the other. And Dennis believes that there's greater legacy, notoriety to have been a captain than it is to be a player. I don't know where Keegan Bradley sits on this, but he certainly could, through the PGA, he could relinquish his captaincy and count on either winning in points or being a selection of one of the vice captains that would have to be elevated to be the captain. And certainly you could choose to do that if he wanted to, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I would think I'm sure he's involved his assistant captains in all the early decision making. I'm sure they're up to speed on everything how he wants things done. And so I wouldn't think it would be a huge transition to turn it over at some point to one of your assistants. But I don't think you can wait, until a week before the Ryder Cup to make that kind of decision. I think that decision would have to be made, a month in advance if it looks like he's going to make the team. To give your assistants a chance to get everything in line and not spring that on them at the last minute. But I think it could be done.
I'm glad he read my text.
He read your text?
Yeah.
He said he wasn't listening off the top, but you guys, similar minds.
Well, he's not too bad, even though I give him a hard time. Yeah. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it could create some very interesting scenarios playing itself forward. And I said this, Gary, I'm get your opinion on this, that I think he ought to be publicly putting something out there. When he was asked yesterday, he just looked in the camera and said, "Go USA." But I think if he has another good tournament or two, then he should either nip this in the bud by saying, "I will not play," in the Ryder Cup, or by saying the PGA and I are talking, I may relinquish my captaincy if it appears that I will be on the team.
I think Lee Trevino was a player captain.
Okay.
And didn't work.
Yeah.
He just set himself apart from players. You've got to get right in there with them. You got to go right in their shirts. You got to be right behind them. You're in a supportive position. Like I said, what happens if he loses?
Sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't take that chance.
Yeah.
Gary, Russell Henley, I'm wondering what you think about that situation where he called the stroke penalty on himself. And if you'd have been covering that tournament or covered tournaments in the past, have you run into any more examples? I'm sure you have along the way where players come forward and admitted that the ball did move type thing.
Yeah, I have covered tournaments where that sort of thing's happened. In fact, at the GMO back, 16, 18 years ago, Mark Wilson was just a young pro at that time. I don't even think he was really established on the tour. He might have been in the field on the sponsor's exemption back then. And on the ninth green at Braun Deer, he thought his ball moved, and he thought he might have caused it to move. And they brought rules officials over, and they went through the whole scenario, and they determined that he had not, in fact, caused his ball to move. But I just thought, what a great example for a guy who, at that point, I think Mark was struggling to try to get to the big tour. And, of course, he'd go on to win 5 times and have a great career. But at that time, he was ready to call a penalty on himself, and he didn't have any status on the tour, if I remember this correctly. So I have seen that sort of thing, and it's just heartening to know that. I don't know what the percentages of players who would do that, but I like to think it's at least in the mid to high 90s. I'm not going to say every player would call a penalty on himself in that situation, but it's heartening to know that most guys have a lot of integrity on the pro tours.
Yeah, I think that's why when we have scenarios in which on tour a player is accused of something, it is such a storyline, because most of the players would call that on themselves. And Patrick Reed is a name that comes to mind that has been controversial at times for not taking a penalty when others thought it should have been a penalty, or maybe manipulating the rules to his favor. I think there was a time when Bryson DeChambeau did that before he had kind of had a turnabout in his career. So when they do happen, I think they're quite a big story, because it doesn't happen very often on a tour that doesn't have officials other than when you call somebody in, right? So
yeah, do we have 1 minute? I want to tell you about one other rule thing. If we have a minute.
Do it.
All right, I covered Bryson DeChambeau when he played, and I don't know if we talked about this before or not. I've talked about it with a lot of people. I covered him when he played in the Marquette Intercollegiate at Erin Hills. He was a student at SMU, and 14th fairway at Erin Hills. He hits a shot from the fairway, second shot, going for the green, and 2 on the par 5, and a rules official happened to be standing there and came down and said, "Bryson, I've got to assess you a penalty stroke. You built a stance." And Bryson's like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, that rules guy said, "Well, there was a replaced divot, and you kicked it out, and you built a stance in that hole in the divot."
Kidding.
And Bryson said, I didn't do that. What are you talking about?" And the rules official said, "Well, unfortunately, I saw you do it, and I've got to call a penalty." Well, anyway, it turned into a big deal where Bryson wanted to play a second ball, and we'll settle this back in the scorer's tent. And it wound up that the penalty stood, and Bryson was extremely angry, as was his coach, and they were yelling at the rules officials, and it was kind of an ugly scene. But that's one of the weirder penalties I've ever seen, where a guy inadvertently, I don't think he meant to kick the divot out and built a stance, but he did it, and the penalty guy saw it and called him on it. So that was just one of the
curiously
weird things.
Dennis, if your stance was one of your feet, one of your shoes, your stance was in a divot, could you not? I mean, that's like having your ball in a divot, nothing you can do about it.
This is like picking the fly stuff out of the pepper.
Right?
You know what I'm talking about? I didn't say the word, but
good job.
That's what it is. You have to understand, a rules official is there to support the player.
Yeah.
That's what he's there for.
Yeah.
That's BS, what he just said right there.
Right.
He really was picking the wrong thing. He's got everything. But then the other side is he's a rule official. You got to respect his ruling and move on. But I'll tell you what, that's his last job as a rules official.
Right.
Fire that boy
Very good.
now. Yeah.
Hey, Gary, we always appreciate it. Thanks for spending time with us on this Monday night. I hope your week is great, and we'll look forward to visiting again next week.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Gary. Gary D'Amato joining us. Well, we've got a couple of guests still to come, but something a little special on the other side before we get to a guest. All right? We're going to do that when we come back. This is Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin.
Thank you, Wisconsin, for supporting the 2025 American Family.
Clear. Break 2. 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
At TPC Wisconsin. Congratulations to the winning team of Darren Clark and Thomas Bjorn. The pair shot 32 under over the 54-hole event, securing the team title with a final round score of 7 under 64. Mark your calendars for the 2026 American Family Insurance Championship, which returns to TPC Wisconsin June 5th through the 7th. Stay up to date on all things AmFam Champ at amfamchampionship.com.
Sculpted by glaciers, played by champions, the University of Wisconsin Golf Course University Ridge is open for play and awaiting your arrival. With more tee times open in 2025, you can reserve your next round directly at universityridge.com. Not enough time for golf? Enjoy our excellent selection of Wisconsin golf merchandise. Fine-tune your game at our world-class practice facility or grab a bite and drink at the W Grill. Put University Ridge on your calendar in 2025 and play where the Badgers play. That's University Ridge Golf Course.
When you or a loved one could use a helping hand, turn to the caring team of experts in senior living at Oak Park Place. This is Paul Braun, and when I needed someone to help me navigate senior living for my wife, I called Oak Park Place. They were with me.
Sounds good over here, too.
You want it. Assistance when you need it. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment, you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
TPC Wisconsin is the Total People Center, offering you and your family a totally enjoyable experience. That includes a challenging 18-hole layout, a good variety of programs for junior golfers, indoor and outdoor tennis, athletic performance center, swimming pool, luxurious locker room, and spacious accommodations for family gatherings and weddings. TPC Wisconsin, a Total People Center and a complete game for the whole family. For membership details, call 608-249-1000.
12-time PGA Tour winner and Wisconsin native Izzi Stricker for Wisconsin Honor Flight.
For the past decade, the Wisconsin Honor Flights have recognized the men and women of our armed forces by escorting them to Washington, D.C. to visit the memorials built in their honor. These honor flights have served the veterans of World War II, Korea, and now we are making a push to give all Vietnam veterans the welcome home they deserve. If you are one of these war era veterans or know of one, please visit wisconsinhonorflight.org. Find the hub nearest you and download an application today. We thank you for your service.
Mics are on.
And we're back at TPC Wisconsin. It's Talking Golf, and we roll on. Before we welcome in our next guest, late last week in lacrosse, we had a great honor for Paul Braun. He was inducted into the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association Hall of Fame, and I wanted to take a moment, to congratulate you, Paul.
Thank you.
It's a fantastic
Very nice.
Career honor. And in part of the induction ceremony, this was a small portion of the video that was played for those who were in attendance.
Badgers move in. Edwards, moving it, shot!
Shot to goal!
4 minutes into the game against Michigan, William Whitelaw scored. Shot and a goal.
There's a drive and it's blocked. Shot and a goal!
His call, shot and a goal, is as memorable as things come.
Ely back to Desner. Shot and goal!
He loves Madison. He loves the Wisconsin Badgers. He loves Wisconsin hockey. He loves broadcasting. He loves people. I mean, how can you not love Paul Braun?
I really had no intention of getting into broadcasting at all. When I graduated from high school in 1965, my parents moved to Seattle, Washington, so I went with them. I got to be friends with a guy who was a sports announcer in Seattle. And he said, why don't you come and sit with us during one of the football broadcasts? I thought, sure, I can do that. And there was an accident on the Mercer Island floating bridge, and they couldn't get to the game on time. So the engineer is sitting there, the gear is setting up, and he said, why don't you do the game until they get here? And I said, what? So anyway, they put a roster down in front of me, and the engineer said to me, go. I said, go where? Which is the first thing I ever said in broadcasting. And I had an absolute blast. And after that, I decided I'm going to look into this broadcasting thing because that was kind of fun. I convinced a radio station in Madison to give me an opportunity to sell and do high school sports, so I moved to Madison. That was 1973 when the Badgers won their first national championship with hockey. And during that year when I was doing high school games, I went to Bob Johnson's hockey class. He invited me to come in even though I wasn't a student. And after the season's over, Fred Gage calls Bob Johnson and said, we need a hockey announcer. He said, give that kid over at MAD a chance. And that kind of started the whole thing.
I came here in 1981. When I came here, Badger sports were in a different place. The Badger hockey was the real deal, and Paul was the play-by-play guy. So he was iconic right away.
They won 6 national championships. I was involved in 5 of them. I had a wonderful career in hockey. It was absolutely fabulous.
How good is that?
Really good.
Yeah, we pulled one off on Paul. He didn't know we were doing it.
I had no idea.
Those were
Thank you.
Those were the voices of Brian Posick, who followed you.
Yep.
And a very difficult, unenviable task to be the person who followed behind the mic for Wisconsin.
But he does a wonderful job.
He does. And then Jeff Tyler, who is also retiring this week, but he also was the voice that we heard in on that. So just a well-deserved congratulations on a fantastic career.
I appreciate it very much,
Yeah.
and I'm honored. And we're honored to have Rose Lynch here with us. Rose is a member here at TPC Wisconsin.
Good member.
A volunteer for the tournaments. And Rose, one question on the volunteering, and then we're going to talk about the women's side of playing golf here at TPC and what the club offers in terms of what women are looking for. You've volunteered in Arizona. You're volunteering here. And that kind of thing. You've done it for years. What do you get out of it? And what's your experience? What was your experience like here this year on the AmFam?
Well, I've started volunteering for AmFam the first year that it was, just so that we could make sure that Madison really looked good to the rest of the country, because it was pretty special to have a professional level tournament here. But I do it because I like to help other people. I like to show off all of the assets around us. I do the Phoenix Open in Arizona, which is crazy. And then the AmFam, which is absolutely wonderful.
What did you think about it here?
It was awesome. You know, it was, what can I say? I live here. I love it here. You know, U Ridge was absolutely delightful. It was really, really good. And I know that there were a lot of skeptics out there thinking that it wouldn't happen, it wouldn't be as nice here. But we certainly proved them wrong. It was great. Rain delay on Sunday, all the spectators could go into the tennis courts. Nobody had to get wet. The carts could go into the tennis courts. The carts didn't get wet. That was just wonderful. All the volunteers too, we've all been doing it for so long, and people have kind of found their niche. They return basically to the same jobs they had before. We now have little groups of friends that are just wonderful. We all know our strengths and our weaknesses and help each other. It's just an all-around great experience, and plus I love showing off this place. Man, anybody had anything negative to say, man, I was right on it.
What, summarize from your perspective of someone who's been a member at Cherokee for a long time, what is it that is good for women who want to play golf here?
Well, you know, the first time I played the course, I thought, I hope I don't like it because then I don't want to have to spend any more money to join another course. But the first time I played it, I absolutely loved it. And from a woman's point of view, we've got tee boxes you can play from absolutely anywhere. The course is very challenging, don't get me wrong, but it's also very, very fair. I know my first rounds, I lost 7 to 8 golf balls per round. Now I'm down to 1. So see, there's improvement there. But it's, from a women's perspective, it's awesome. And our organization, we have a small women's organization we're building, so this is a perfect time for other women to come and join us. We have probably a couple dozen people that play on Tuesday evenings. They're 9 holes. We have lots of new members. Many of them are working. They're different skill levels for sure, all over the board, from people who are probably just beginning to some really, really, really good golfers. But everybody has the same goal in mind, and that is to have a really good time. 9 holes, we play our 9 holes and then come in, usually have dinner, perhaps an adult beverage. And it's just wonderful. We also have, because of our women's organization, we have so many different skill levels. Our Pro Shop and Director of Golf, they have created lessons for us. Once a month, we have a little sips and tips before we go out. We also have a golf academy where we focus a little bit more on all aspects of the game, really. And any time that you need any help whatsoever, nobody has ever said, no, I can't tell you that, or there's no hope for you, even though they're probably thinking that.
We're visiting with Rose Lynch, and Rose, you talk about the amenities that have, all of the changes that have taken place here over the last 2.5 to 3 years are extraordinary. You don't see all of them on the outside. You certainly do in the short game area and the learning facility and the golf course itself. But the inside amenities, how impactful has that been for you and those who you talk to?
Well, as somebody who's been here since the early 80s, the changes are absolutely remarkable. I had some friends here from Montana, and when she went into the locker room, she was just blown away. It's absolutely wonderful. Our performance center is awesome. You hinted about the learning center. We had a rainy day last week when we were having a golf academy. We moved right into there. The pool is great. There's just so much to do, and everybody here is willing to help you, show you what to do. I practically live here.
I was upstairs and have been a lot this summer with Brandon Firstel in the workout area. That has also been a tremendous upgrade because he knows what he's doing and his programs are fantastic. I don't know if you've taken advantage of those or your friends have.
I haven't as yet, although now I feel guilty because I meant to go today and I didn't. But every Friday he has a video that he puts out. I look at that all of the time. Going back to those videos, the Pro Shop puts out a video every Tuesday with their tip of the week. It's fantastic. Every aspect of the game gets covered in one way or another.
Rose, and I tell you what, you and I have been around this place for a long, long time. What I see is a lot of families, young families that are becoming members, and that's great for the club. And the whole social environment of that family, there's a lot of different things to do here in terms of tennis, the swimming pool, all of those kind of things. But have you noticed the same thing?
Yes, especially on our Tuesday nights. We have a lot of new young ladies who just want to come out and get away from it all for a little bit. But yeah, it's wonderful to see all the young kids. Yesterday when I went by the pool, it is jam-packed full of kids, and they're having a blast. So it's definitely a family-friendly place.
Well, we want to thank you for stopping by, and Dennis, more importantly, wonderful member of a lot of years.
He's okay.
That's the best you can give right there? Huh?
No, she's a favorite, and she knows that. But, I had to pay her for all them comments that she made.
Yeah. Well, good. About time you paid somebody.
You notice I didn't mention you by name once.
I know. I know it.
We'll be back after this timeout. This is TPC Wisconsin.
That's cool.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob. Joel and his crew can...
Clear. Break 3 minutes.
Bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Thank you, Wisconsin, for supporting the 2025 American Family Insurance Championship. This year's event debuted a new team competition and a new location at TPC Wisconsin. Congratulations to the winning team of Darren Clark and Thomas Bjorn. The pair shot 32 under over the 54-hole event.
Okay.
Under 64. Mark your calendars for the 2026 American Family Insurance Championship, which returns to TPC Wisconsin June 5th through the 7th. Stay up to date on all things AmFam Champ at AmFamChampionship.com.
Escape to Wild Rock Golf Club in Wisconsin Dells, where championship golf meets breathtaking natural beauty. The perfect golf getaway awaits, with numerous luxurious lodging styles, perfect for groups of any size. Carved from the natural beauty of the area, Wild Rock is set against rolling hills, rugged terrain, and views you won't forget. Book your next round or stay and play package today and get ready for an exceptional golf experience. Visit wildrockgolf.com for more information. That's wildrockgolf.com.
Hi, Matt LePay, your friendly game announcer for Ridgetop Exteriors. Is your home ready to stand out this season? Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they've delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors.
Izzy is on the line.
Consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Would you like more time to focus on your hobbies and less time with keeping up with your home? This is Paul Braun for the Arbors Independent Living at Oak Park Place. Contact the leasing team at Oak Park Place to find out how you can live your best life doing the things you enjoy with neighbors that quickly become friends at the Arbors Independent Living at Oak Park Place on Madison's East Side and in Janesville. Live life, live well. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
Hey guys, it's Mike Heller for Lombardi Limonata. You know this is my
Yep, she wasn't surprised that I called.
Limonata, an Italian-inspired hard lemonade, locally owned and made with all natural ingredients, none of those artificial sweeteners. And it goes great with just
30
about
seconds,
any
you got
summertime
30.
activity, anytime, anywhere. Loosen up by picking up some Lombardi Limonata today at your local Festival Foods and make any time feel like summertime with Lombardi Limonata.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob. Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you.
10 seconds, you got 10.
New or used, clubs, shoes, bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Mics are on.
All right, we continue. It's Talking Golf on a Monday. Paul Braun joins us. Dennis Tiziani's here. My name's Mike Heller. Dennis, we look outside. I'm just going to do this before we welcome in Izzy. We look outside. It's raining hard.
That's good.
Which is good. You're right.
It's a good thing.
If it stopped in 10 minutes, you could play in 15 minutes after that.
No problem.
Right?
Water is not, we had like 4 inches of rain, and we had carts out at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Water is not the issue here.
Yeah.
The drainage is set. All goes back into where the water was pumped out.
Yeah,
and
really good.
Sand top dressing, so it, sand top soil, so it goes real quick.
We welcome in somebody you're familiar with. Izzi Stricker joins us on the phone. Izzy, thanks for spending a little time with us. I want to talk about last week, but before we talk about last week, can we talk about what happened today? Can you fill us in on a little tournament and your playing partner and what was going on today?
Yes, can you all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
We got you.
Okay, good. So this morning, my mom and I played in the state 4-ball together, which was awesome. We kind of came up with the idea, I think back in May, I want to say. It was like a month out, and I was like, hey, do you want to play together? And she's like, sure. So went to Bergamot today. We shot 1 under on the front 9, and then something caught on fire in my mom's putter. She made 6 birdies on the back.
Wow. What happened on the other 3 holes? Huh? Izzy, what happened on the other 3 holes?
I made 3
putts. We made 1 bogey all day, which was pretty good. It was pretty windy today, but 7 under was a good score.
I guess so. Did she leave any putts for you to make?
No.
Yeah, I guess so. Pretty selfish.
Her back was hurting. She was carrying me all day.
Yeah.
But, Mike, she made a lot of putts last week.
Well, yeah, and that's really, I mean, before we knew about what you were doing today, wanted to talk to you about the state match play that you ended up taking the crown home a week ago up at Old Hickory. Walk us through what that tournament was like for you and that feeling of being a champion there.
Yeah, it was really special. That was my first state match play I've played in, actually. I signed up last year, and it got rained out. So this year was my first year. Really no expectation, actually, which I think is why I played really well, is because I didn't really know what to expect. My last match was against Peyton Haugen. She's a Michigan State commit, and she's been playing super well, had a great high school season. So I knew towards the end my competition would be tough, but I kept my head down, and I felt like I played really well.
Izzi, in terms of how you're doing, say, the last couple of years and the competition and that kind of thing, what are you learning about yourself and your game?
Good question. I think, well, first of all, I think girls' junior golf has gotten so much better. Even since I was like 12 and 13, I feel like there's a lot of great players, so that's cool to see. And Peyton gave me a run, and she's a junior in high school, so it's really fun to see these high school girls playing so well. We played at McKenna Nelson's home course. She's a great player herself. But I've learned, like, how important short game is, I think, with girls junior golf and young women playing golf. How many shots you can gain just around the greens, and I think I've really put my focus in that, and I have someone in my ear that tells me how important short game is, and I have a good teacher, so I think that's been a key growing up, and even in college, I've noticed, like, wedge play around the greens, on the green, putting is super, super important, and I think at the college level, everyone really hits it borderline the same, but the elite players I've noticed can get it in the hole no matter where they are. So I've learned that, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better at that. And I putted really well last week, which I think made a huge difference. So it's been cool to see.
We were talking with your grandpa earlier, Izzi, about your competitive desire. I mean, you want to win. I think that's one thing that separates out athletes from others. Those who participate and those who win, is there's a competitive instinct. So I'm just curious, when you're playing cards against Grandpa, how does that work? Do you win?
You know what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's the right answer. That's the right answer.
Maybe Grandpa lets me win just so that I'm happy.
No,
but
I don't think that's in his nature either. I also wanted to get your perspective on the AmFam Championship that was played out here. I saw you when you were playing. You got a chance to play in the Pro-Am round. Your sister didn't because she's a pro, so it didn't work that way. But you got to kind of take in the whole weekend-long experience with your uncle and your dad teaming up and being at the course that you live at, and that's, you know, kind of your course. What was your impression of the whole weekend of the AmFam, or the whole week of the AmFam Championship?
Yeah, it was so special, and I think every single one of my family members can say that. And the whole Tiziani side was a huge part of it. My two cousins, Thomas and Ryan, one was in the kitchen, one was running the show outside with the carts and helping people out. So, like, little stuff like that goes a long ways, and it was really cool to see how our whole family was just so on board with everything. And I actually was looking back at some photos not too long ago just of that week, and I miss it already. It was so much fun, and just another reason for our families to get together and to just watch my grandpa's dream kind of come true. I know we talked about it, like how American Family Insurance's slogan is dream, and they had that everywhere, and I kind of thought, and my sister said this, like, how my grandpa's dream kind of turned into reality, and we all helped him do it. And I think, I almost know he thinks that's really cool, and so it's really, really cool to see.
Izzi, when you look at the family, you've got your dad and your mom along with Bobby, and then your Uncle Dennis. In terms of instruction, all of those people are quality golfers. Do you seek advice from all of them? How do you handle that kind of situation when you have so much available in terms about learning and playing golf?
Yeah, I do try to utilize as many people as I can, get as much information as I can. And I know my grandpa has said this before, like, to talk to a lot of different people and pull out the information that works for you, because everyone has such different language, I think has helped me into the golfer that I am. I think I take just as much information from my mom than I do my dad. And some would probably say that it's all my dad, but I don't think people see how much my mom has contributed to. My sister, I mean, she's fresh out of college golf, and she kind of knows what's going on in the young golfer world, and my dad is a very experienced golfer, so to get like a bunch of different perspectives from it and a bunch of different levels. I mean, my sister's an aspiring pro, she's on the mini tours, and my dad is a successful pro, so to see those two perspectives is really eye-opening. I even get it from my great-uncle Larry, my grandpa's brother, and my uncle Mario, so I can pull from all different directions, which is really cool.
Izzi, that is, you give us a great deal of joy when we see you playing and see you winning. So keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you spending time with us tonight. We'll look forward to the next time we get to do it.
Thanks, Izzi.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, okay. we take a break here. I know Grandpa's proud, but we got to take a break regardless. This is Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin.
Thank you, Wisconsin, for supporting the 2025 American Family Insurance.
Clear. Last break.
A new team competition and a new location at TPC Wisconsin. Congratulations to the winning team of Darren Clark and Thomas Bjorn. The pair shot 32 under over the 54-hole event, securing the team title with a final round score of 7 under 64. Mark your calendars for the 2026 American Family Insurance Championship, which returns to TPC Wisconsin June 5th through the 7th. Stay up to date on all things AmFam Champ at amfamchampionship.com.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly pay you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
Sculpted by glaciers, played by champions, the University of Wisconsin Golf Course University Ridge is open for play and awaiting your arrival. With more tee times open in 2025, you can reserve your next round directly at universityridge.com. Not enough time for golf? Enjoy our excellent selection of Wisconsin golf merchandise. Fine-tune your game at our world-class practice facility or grab a bite and drink at the W Grill. Put University Ridge on your calendar in 2025 and play where the Badgers play. That's University Ridge Golf Course.
Oak Park Place Memory Care Communities meet residents where they are in the journey with Alzheimer's and other form of dementia. This is Paul Braun for Oak Park Place. When you need to take that first step and learn more, turn to the experts at Oak Park Place. You'll meet a compassionate team who will help residents find purpose, tailored to individual needs through a success-oriented program. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
Hey, it's Mike Heller for Lombardi Lemonada Hard Lemonade. Everybody loves something new, especially when it's brand new and a taste of your favorite hard lemonade just in time for summer. Lombardi Lemonada comes in 4 unique flavors, crafted with all-natural lemon juice and no artificial sweeteners. Crisp, clean, and so refreshing. It's a little slice of Sicily made right here in Wisconsin. Pick up some Lombardi Lemonada today at your local Festival Foods or at Woodman's and taste the summertime. Variety packs or single flavors available.
If you're a golfer who likes a challenge, consider being a member at TPC Wisconsin. The course provides you with a very challenging 18-hole layout that makes you think before you hit your next shot.
Yeah,
After
literally a minute.
You can relax at the completely renovated clubhouse. The new facility includes 3 restaurants, tennis courts, driving range, and programs for juniors, plus other great amenities.
10 seconds,
Are
you
you
got 10.
up for the TPC Wisconsin Challenge? For details on becoming a member, 608-249-1000.
Lights are on.
Back with you one final time. What a really good show we've had tonight. Not self-congratulatory, but Gary D'Amato was great, and then talking to Rose Lynch here in person, and then having Izzy on, and the topics off the top. I mean, they're self-made on a PGA Tour, and some rules, and it's a good night, Dennis Tiziani. And it was fun having Izzy on.
About time you guys do something right.
I knew it was going to be something like that. As soon as you started that, I thought, I know what he's going to say.
What kind of a smart aleck comment he could make without having us to drop him for saying something he couldn't. We'll do it again next Monday night. Thanks for being with us again, Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin.
Clear.